Breaking news out of the Middle East now as missile alerts went out in the United Arab Emirates for the first time since the ceasefire began. The Defense Ministry says missiles were fired from Iran and 3 were intercepted. This as President Trump's new efforts to guide stranded ships through the Strait of Hormuz are underway, with Iran promising an aggressive response. U.S. Central Command says 2 U.S.-flagged merchant vessels successfully got through the strait. The U.S. denies Iran's claim that it struck a U.S. destroyer trying to enter the strait. Let's get right to MS Now contributor Inzamam Rashid in Dubai, MS Now senior national security reporter David Rohde, and Hagar Shamali, former spokesperson for the U.S. mission to the UN, and Syria and Lebanon director for the National Security Council under former President Obama. Inzamam, what is the latest on these missile alerts?
Well, we've had around 3 alerts so far in Dubai today. These are the first alerts on our mobile phones that Iranian drones and missiles are incoming since the 8th of April, since that ceasefire kicked in. Ever since then, it's been fairly quiet, and the ceasefire has held up until today, because now we've seen fighting on the Strait of Hormuz, but it's not just on water. We're now seeing actual Iranian attacks on land once again, and particularly here in the UAE. So what the Ministry of Defense has said is that there were 4 loitering munitions coming from Iran towards the country that were detected. 3 of the missiles were successfully intercepted over the country's territorial waters, and the last one fell into the sea. But now we've just had some information come out from the Fujairah media office. Fujairah is one of the emirates in the UAE. It's one of the northern emirates, and it's actually where a lot of the country's oil activity takes place. There's huge oil storage facilities there, and they've just said that the competent authorities in the Emirate of Fujairah confirmed an advanced fire in the Fujairah Petroleum Industries area resulting from the targeting of a drone coming from Iran. Civil defense teams in Fujairah immediately began dealing with the incident whilst continuing their efforts to control it. So look, we are now in a situation now where after almost a month of a ceasefire, essentially from the US and Israel into Iran, and Iran's retaliation into the Gulf states and into Israel, is now effectively broken, because we are seeing fighting occurring once again, not only on the Strait of Hormuz, after we've seen UAE oil tankers targeted, potentially US warships also struck from Iranian strikes as these US Navy vessels try to carry out escort missions in the Strait of Hormuz, but now we are seeing the UAE tonight under attack from Iranian fire. And I think this just basically takes us back to square one of this conflict, Anna. All that diplomacy that's been taking place intensely over the weekend as well effectively feels like it's been scrapped because of where we are once again. And I think tonight the people of the UAE here will be looking up to the skies to see whether there is any further Iranian incoming fire, which we saw for many weeks of this conflict as the alerts continue to come through. Anna.
Inzamam Rashid, stay safe. Thank you for bringing us the latest. We'll let you get back to gathering the reporting. David, 3 missiles now intercepted from Iran. Does this mean the ceasefire is over?
It doesn't, in that at least U.S. officials, military, is saying that no American ships have been hit, no Navy ships. I just want to clarify that the Iranians claim that they had fired on an American Navy ship, but that's been denied by the U.S. forces. But what we are seeing is Iran again escalating, this thing called escalation dominance. So in a way, President Trump escalated tensions by announcing this plan to escort some ships through the strait. It was a vague plan, and we can talk about that more separately. But Iran is now retaliating and escalating. It attacked 2 ships yesterday. And the fact that they've struck this energy infrastructure, this plant, the refinery apparently in Fujairah that Inzi was talking about, shows that Iran is doing what it's threatened. If you escalate in the strait, if the U.S. takes steps to take over the strait, we will start targeting energy infrastructure. These are facilities that will take months to fix. This is just one. But the nuclear option, so to speak, for Iran, I guess that's not a good term to use with Iran. The most serious option from Iran is to hit refineries and ports and natural gas facilities in Dubai, in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, and that would cripple the world's energy supply for months.
Hagar, what do you make of this? Is this Iran now testing to see whether the U.S. is going to respond?
You know, David made a really important point here that I want to expand on, which is the fact that, so Iran is trying to escalate things here, right? It doesn't mean that the ceasefire is over, but escalating why? And it's because each side is basically trying to one-up each other. You have a situation where Iran has found this newfound power with this in the Strait of Hormuz and controlling it. And when Trump came out and said, you know what, I'm going to ensure free passage for the vessels tied to countries in the world that have nothing to do with this conflict. And when he said that, what he's basically doing is putting Iran in a box. It's like a chess game, and he's maneuvering back and saying, no, you know what? If I can prove that I'm going to allow freedom of navigation for these vessels to leave, then it undermines Iran's power and claim to have this control over the strait. And yet if Iran, which on one hand flips the script, and on the other, if the Iranian regime escalates, then they're the ones who break the ceasefire. So from the U.S. perspective, it's kind of win-win. They're thinking, well, if you break the ceasefire, we're going to result in war again. And otherwise, we're showing the world that we have control over the strait, that's not a power that the Iranian regime, ever had. So that's what's going to be fascinating to play out here. It could result in intensity yet again, but that's what the U.S. this is the game they're playing, and I think that the U.S. is coming from a stronger position here.